Hey, what's going on everybody, and welcome back to another Fallout 4 Mods Weekly. We're going to go ahead and take a look at some of the really cool mods that have come out this week, but before we begin, we actually started doing Mods Weekly in Skyrim, so if you're watching this video and you're at all interested in Skyrim mods that have come out in the week, go check it out, tell me what you think, and yeah, that's enough plugging for now. Let's go ahead and get right into the video. Now, for our first mod this week, we have Basic Mashups by Spiderbabes. We covered this in an original video already, going over all of the nitty-gritty details, but essentially what it is a bunch of outfits that really feel like they belong in the vanilla game. These use a lot of vanilla assets combined together to make some really cool new outfits. A lot of these feel like they just fit in the Fallout world already, but it makes sense, because again, vanilla outfits combined together, it just works. Now, as for obtaining these things, you actually craft them at a chemistry station. These are not added to the leveled list, which can be a downside for some people, I'm sure. But at the very least, you have something you can add to your settlers. Another small downside, these are female-only outfits, which is a shame because a lot of these feel like they could fit men very well. But either way, these are some really good quality outfits, things that feel like they belong in Fallout. And again, good for settlers. At the very least, you can equip your female settlers to make them a little bit different from everybody else and still maintain that Fallout feel, which is something I really appreciate. Hopefully at some point it'll receive some updates, maybe some level-less integration, maybe male versions of each outfit. But in the meantime, this is what you get, and there's some really good outfits in this one. Definitely worth taking a look if you want some more vanilla-style outfits. Up next, we have a melee weapon mod, and that's going to be the Hammer of Mass Destruction by Tuesday. That's right, Tuesday, the creator of the Commonwealth Responders mod and many other really cool mods, brings us the Hammer of Mass Destruction, or as other people know it, a claw hammer, or if you're in America, just a hammer. At least around where I'm from, that this is just your hammer. That's what you use to hammer in nails. Anyways, this is a very simple tool repurposed for a weapon in Fallout 4. Something that should have been in the game in the first place. There are some ball peen hammers at the very least in the vanilla game as junk items, but none of them you can actually use as weapons. And this makes sense as something that raiders would be running around with. It's just a tool, again, repurposed as a weapon. Something you might see pretty often. This one totally makes sense in my game, but again, something I wish it had was some leveled list integration. As of right now, there are only 3 versions of the weapon you can obtain. There is the regular one that's found at Red Rocket, and then 2 legendary versions. The Prill's Banhammer, which can be found at an outhouse outside of the Museum of Freedom, and Blue Justice, which can be found at a statue kind of near the Moonshiner's Shack. But sadly, those are the only locations you can find this weapon, which is a shame. Even without those leveled lists, I still think this is a great weapon for any load order. It's something you just throw in, and now you have a nice little unique melee weapon for the early game. The second you get to Red Rocket, you have this thing, and it's pretty useful. Definitely something you could use for the first few levels, and then eventually when you head down to the south of the map and you find that one that disintegrates enemies and does way more damage, then you have something for the late game too. Really interesting mod and very cool, and always great work from Tuesday. Moving on, we have the Fallout 3 style whiskey by dpillari. dpillari has done it again with another amazing retexture, and in this case, remesh of a vanilla item. I think last time it was the bottle cap stashes, now we have the whiskey. This not only does a retexture, but changes the bottle to be the exact shape of the classic Fallout style whiskey as well. And this is a very faithful recreation. If we bring up the old style of the whiskey, this mimics it perfectly, except of course high res with better textures, but still a very good representation of the Fallout 3 style whiskey in Fallout 4. Another amazing dpillari mod that's definitely worth downloading. Very lightweight, you just throw it in your game, and now you have some better looking drink textures. Something that you can not only use just to drink, but also throw around your settlement. Add some style to your bars, just really some character to your settlements, and I really hope he goes to do even more aid items in the game. That would be amazing. More incredible retextures by dpillari. Really like this one. Moving on, we have the Advanced Combat Headgear by Spiffyskytrooper. Now this is an awesome new helmet that I think fits in Fallout 4 very well, especially if you combine it with some other modded armors. It has a ton of customization options, including a bunch of new colors, which is really cool. The stats themselves are set, so you can't really upgrade them with ballistic weaves or anything, but I think it's fine. It has really good stats. It's used primarily as a gas mask more than anything. It has a lot of rad resistance. But those customization options for the colors are what really sell it for me. You can combine this with just about any vanilla armor because you can cater the colors to fit that, or you can even download some modded armors like the classic combat armor, or in my case the Courser Strigidae armor. I think it pairs very well with both of those with the futuristic sci-fi style while still maintaining this base in reality with the classic style helmet. Really, really cool. Combining that with the colors and making them really mesh together sells this mod for me so much. It's really, really awesome. In this case, not added to the level list because it is a unique helmet. You actually find this in a very specific location at the USAF Satellite Station Olivia, where you would normally find the locket for Abernathy Farm. And once you obtain it, it's yours, and there's no other versions of it, so it's very unique. You got to take care of this one. But at the cost of its uniqueness, it does have a really nice bonus, which is a targeting HUD, which, if you watched the original video, you know I had a small bug with that, but I've got it fixed now. Figured that one out. So it adds the targeting HUD that you would normally obtain from power armor, and it's applied to this headgear. So pull out your weapon, get ready for combat, and all enemies will be highlighted with a nice red outline, which is very helpful. Definitely a cool, unique piece of headgear, and awesome work by Spiffyskytrooper. Now finally, we are checking out the Weapon Overhauls All-in-One by the 6th Messenger. Now this mod didn't come out this week, it actually got updated this week. This thing's been around for a very long time and you may recognize it, but it's gotten some very substantial updates. The mod author actually reached out to me hoping that I would cover it in its own standalone video, which we did. It is a whopping video covering all of the new unique changes, but I'll try to rush through some of the most important parts in this little 2-minute segment so you can at least get the gist of what this thing does. Essentially, Weapon Overhauls is going to add a ton of new attachments to all of the vanilla weapons. Every single vanilla weapon has gotten a bunch of new attachments to kind of make them on par with other standalone weapon mods. Additionally, a lot of changes have been made. For example, a few renamings of certain weapons to make them make a little more sense. For example, the combat rifle has been renamed to the assault rifle, and the assault rifle has been renamed to the battle rifle. And they kind of suit that role a little more now with the new attachments that are available. Additionally, you can rechamber basically every weapon in the game into ammos that make sense. There are also new ammo types, not just in caliber, but also in subtypes. So if you have a 308, you can also have 308 armor piercing, or radium rounds, or hollow points, etc. Tons and tons of options. And along with said ammo types is the ammo switching ability, which functions similarly to how it did in New Vegas. You can now swap ammo types on the fly. If you want to use armor piercing because there's a big tough enemy coming at you, you can swap it. And if you need to go back to hollow points because there's some low level guys coming at you, you can swap back at the press of a button. There definitely is a lot more going on here. Each weapon has been treated with care in its own mod, and they have all been brought together into this one big pack, making this mod your one-stop shop for overhauling all of the vanilla weapons. Definitely a cool one, and again, I covered all of those details in a video already yesterday, so if you want to go check my channel, check that out. If you want more details, there's a lot of good resources over there. And with that, we bring this video to a close. Hope you guys enjoyed some of these mods. There's some really, really cool ones coming out this week. Not a ton in the way of standalone weapons, but a lot of variety, which is nice sometimes. Either way, if you want to try out any of these mods yourself, check the links down below. There are PC and Xbox links if available. And as always, go out there and support your mod authors. Endorse their mods if you enjoyed them. Donate if that's something you can do. But most of all, just show your appreciation for all of their hard work. And hey, if you enjoyed this video, consider dropping a rating. Subscribe if you haven't already for more videos just like this one, and I hope to see you in the next video. Peace! And hey, shout out to all of our patrons for their continued support. As always, your donations are greatly appreciated and help to fund videos just like this one. So again, thank you.